Alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today inshallah we're going to solve Cambridge exam February-March 2023 paper 22. Let's start it. Question 1. Substance M is a solid at 30 degrees Celsius. The substance is heated to 80 and its temperature measured as it cools down to room temperature. The cooling curve is as shown. Between which times substance M is freezing. So here it is already mentioned that M is a solid at 30. Here temperature 30. M is a solid. So between the time R and S, the substance M is a solid. By rising the temperature, the solid M start to melt. So here in this plateau part or in the horizontal part, we will have the melting point of substance M. After that, M change into liquid and the temperature start to rise. When we reach temperature 80, again the substance is cooled. So by cooling the substance M, it will freeze, change from liquid to solid. So here, hence the melting point is the same as the freezing point. So substance M will start to freeze between Q and R. The answer will be B. Question 2. Which gas has the fastest rate of diffusion? We know that the rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the molecular mass. The smaller the molecular mass, the faster the rate of diffusion. Here I calculated the molecular mass for the 4 gases. The smallest molecular mass is for ethane. That's why the answer will be B. Question 3. There are 2 stable isotopes for bromine. The first one, bromine 79, and the second is bromine 81. Which statement is correct? Isotopes have the same number of neutrons. This is of course a wrong statement. By definition, isotopes are atoms of the same element that have the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. The isotope have different chemical properties. This is of course also wrong because they are atoms of the same element with the same electronic distribution and the same number of electrons in the outer shell. So of course they will have the same chemical properties. Isotopes have different number of protons. This is of course also wrong. Isotopes have the same number of outer electrons. This is the only correct statement and the answer will be D. Question 4. Which statement about ions and ionic bond is correct? Bromine atoms form negatively charged bromide ions. This is correct. Bromine form bromide ions, which is negatively charged. Ionic bond form between elements in group 7 in the periodic table. Elements in group 7 will form covalent bonds because they are nonmetals. Positive ions are formed when the atoms lose proton. Of course, this is wrong. Potassium iodide contain negatively charged potassium ions. This is of course also wrong because potassium ions are positively charged. So the answer will be A. Question 5. Part of the periodic table is shown. Which type of chemical bonding is present in the oxide of F and oxide of G? So he's asking about the type of bonding. Hence, F is a metal. So it will form ionic bond with oxygen. The oxide of F will be ionic compound and hence G is a non-metal. So it will form covalent bond with oxygen and the oxide will be covalent. The answer is C. Question 6. Element X and element Y react to form a compound. Element X loses 2 electrons. So when it loses 2 electrons, it will form ion with positive 2 charge, and element Y gains 1 electron, so it will form ion of 1 negative charge. What is the charge of the ions of the element X and Y? We already mentioned it here, that X will be +2 and Y will be -1. And what is the formula of the compound? To know the formula of the compound, we will write the ions with its charges, then we will exchange the charges, so the formula will be XY2. Here, X has +2 charge, Y -1, and the formula is XY2. The answer is B. Question 7. which statement about graphite explains why it is used as electrode? It contains ions. This is of course wrong. It has a giant covalent structure. Graphite is actually a giant covalent structure, but this is not the reason why it is used as electrode, so this is wrong statement. It is a metal. This is of course wrong. Graphite is not a metal. It's a giant covalent structure. It has mobile electrons. This is correct. That's why graphite used as electrode, because it can conduct electricity with its mobile electrons. The answer is D. Question 8. Methane burns in air to form carbon dioxide and water. What is the balanced equation for this reaction? Here you have to check the balance for each of the four options, and you have to check that the number of the atoms in the reactant equal to the number of atoms in the product. So here we have one carbon, 4 hydrogen, 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. For oxygen, here we have 4, and here 2 plus 2 is 4, so the answer is B. Question 9. The equation for the thermal decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate is shown. Here the equation of decomposition of sodium hydrogen carbonate, it gives sodium carbonate, water, and carbon dioxide. Here we have the MR for sodium hydrogen carbonate, it's 84, and for sodium carbonate it's 106. In the experiment, 2.1 gram of sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated, but not all of it decomposes. So not all of the sodium hydrogen carbonate decomposes, not all the 2.1 gram decomposes, only part of it. And all the carbon dioxide is collected and measured at room temperature and pressure. The total volume of carbon dioxide is 0.21 decimeter cube. The volume of 1 mole of a gas at room temperature and pressure is 24. Okay, which statement is correct? He's asking about the mass of sodium carbonate and the percentage yield of carbon dioxide. So we will have to calculate the mass of the sodium carbonate produced and the volume of carbon dioxide formed. First, we will calculate the mass of sodium carbonate. Number of moles of sodium hydrogen carbonate produced, number of moles of sodium carbonate produced can be calculated by calculating the number of moles of carbon dioxide. We have the volume of carbon dioxide gas, which is 0.21, divide the molar volume of carbon dioxide, 24, so number of moles will be 0.008. As the ratio between sodium carbonate to carbon dioxide is 1:1, so sodium carbonate has the same number of moles. The number of moles of sodium carbonate equal to the mass, divide MR. We know that MR is 106, so the mass will be 0.93. So here the mass of sodium carbonate produced is 0.93 grams. We want to check this answer also, what the percentage yield of carbon dioxide. If all the sodium hydrogen carbonate decomposes, so we will assume that the 2.1 gram of sodium hydrocarbonate decomposes completely, and we will calculate the number of moles of sodium hydrogen carbonate. Mass divide the molar mass, which is 84, so we will have 0.025 moles of sodium hydrogen carbonate. This will produce, because the ratio is 2:1, so the number of moles of carbon dioxide will be half that of sodium hydrogen carbonate. We will divide it by 2, so the number of moles of carbon dioxide will be 0.0125. And from the equation of number of moles of gases, we will get the volume of carbon dioxide. Expected volume, if all the 2.1 grams decomposes, we will have 0.3 decimeter cube, and actually here we only have 0.21 decimeter cube, so the percentage yield will be 0.21 divide 0.3 times 100, the percentage will be 70%. So statement C and D is wrong. We already have statement 1 is correct. The mass of sodium carbonate is 0.93 grams. So the answer is A. Question 10. An electrolysis experiment is done using carbon electrodes. Hydrogen and oxygen formed at the electrodes. What is the electrolyte? Here, if the electrolyte is copper sulfate, we will have copper metal at the cathode and oxygen gas at the anode. If we have concentrated hydrochloric acid, we will have hydrogen gas at the cathode and chlorine gas at the anode. So it is not hydrogen and oxygen. Statement 1 and statement 2 is wrong. If we have dilute aqueous sodium chloride, we will have hydrogen at the cathode and oxygen at the anode. So C is the correct answer. If we have molten potassium bromide, we will have potassium metal at the cathode and oxygen at the anode. So the answer is C. Question 11. Concentrated aqueous copper sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrodes. Write the ionic half equation. Describe the reaction taking place at the cathode. At the cathode, copper ions in copper sulfate solution attracted to the cathode. It will gain 2 electrons and form copper metal. It will deposit on the cathode. So the answer is D. Question 12. When powdered sodium carbonate and aqueous ethanoic acid are mixed, the temperature of the mixture falls. When the temperature falls, that means it is endothermic reaction. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Of course, the endothermic reaction will have a delta H, which is positive, so the answer is B. Question 13. Magnesium powder react with an excess dilute hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas. So here we have the reaction between magnesium and hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen gas. Which statement about this reaction is correct? The smaller the particles of the magnesium powder, more slowly the hydrogen gas produced. This is of course a wrong statement, because as the particles of the magnesium powder get smaller, that means the surface area increase and the rate of reaction will increase. The higher the temperature, the faster magnesium powder disappear. This is a correct statement, because increasing temperature will increase the rate of reaction, so the magnesium powder will disappear faster. The lower the concentration of the hydrochloric acid, the faster the rate of reaction. This is of course wrong. Decreasing the concentration will decrease the rate of reaction. The faster magnesium powder disappear, the faster the rate of reaction. This is of course correct. So we have 2 and 4 are correct, and the answer is C. 14. The reaction between two aqueous compounds, X and Y, is slow and exothermic. The graph shows how the rate of reaction changed with time. A student suggests that the rate of reaction decreases with the time because the activation energy decreases. This is of course wrong. The speed of the molecules X and Y decreases. Of course, this is also wrong. The speed will not decrease. The concentration of both X and Y decreases by time. As the reaction takes place going on by time, the number of the reactant particles decreases by time. So the only correct statement is 3, and the answer will be D. Question 15. Hydrogen react with iodine to form hydrogen iodide. Which statement explains why the reaction is faster when the pressure is increased at constant temperature? So here, by increasing pressure, at higher pressure, the molecules are moving faster. This is a wrong statement. At higher pressure, more molecules have required activation energy. Increasing pressure has nothing to do with the activation energy. Higher pressure, the molecules are closer together. Yes, by increasing the pressure, we are making the volume of the gas smaller, so the particle will be closer together, and this is a correct statement. A higher pressure, the molecule collide more frequently. Of course, when they are close together, they will collide more frequently. So 3 and 4 are correct, and the answer is D. statement. Question 16. Ammonium sulfate is used as fertilizer. It is made from ammonia and sulfuric acid. Here we have to complete the sentence with one word from each column. Which word complete the gaps 1, 2, 3? So here we have to choose a correct answer in these three columns. Sulfuric acid is made by contact process in which vanadium pentoxide is used as catalyst. This is the only correct statement and the answer is C. 17. Reversible reaction shown takes place in a closed system at constant temperature. When the reaction has reached equilibrium, more T is added. After addition of T, which other substances increase in concentration? By addition of any product, here we add T. By addition of any product, the equilibrium will be shifted backward toward formation of more of the reactant. So the substance that will increase in concentration are the reactant B, Q, and R. And the answer will be C. Question 18. In which equation is the underlying substance act as reducing agent? Reducing agent means it reduces other substance and gets oxidized. So here in the first equation, carbon monoxide reduces iron oxide into iron. So the first statement is correct and the answer is A. 19. An aqueous solution reacts with solid to produce an alkaline gas and salt and water. What are the aqueous solution and the solid? The alkaline gas that we know, of course, is ammonia, and the only reaction here that produces ammonia is reaction of sodium hydroxide with ammonium chloride. Ammonia gas produced, salt and water, and the answer will be D. Question 20. Butanoic acid partially dissociate in aqueous solution. Which row about butanoic acid is correct? It is partially dissociate. That means it is weak acid. All organic acids are weak acid. So we will choose a pH of 5. And for the color of thymolphthalene in acidic media, it turns colorless. So the answer will be B. 21. Copper sulfate is prepared by adding excess copper carbonate to sulfuric acid. Why the excess copper carbonate is used? Of course, we will add excess copper carbonate to ensure all the sulfuric acid has reacted. So the answer is B. This is the method of preparation of soluble salt copper sulfate, and after adding excess copper carbonate, we will remove it by filtration. Question 22. Part of the periodic table is shown. Which element has 2 electrons in the outer shell? Having 2 electrons in the outer shell means it will be in group 2, and 3 electron shells that will be in period 3. So the answer is C. Question 23. Element in group 1 and 2 shows the same trends in their reaction with water and in their density. So the reactivity of group 2 elements are the same as group 1, and also the density as the same as group 1. Which row shows the properties of barium compared to calcium? So we will check group 2 starting from beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, then barium. The trend of reactivity, the reactivity and the density increase as we go down the group. So barium is more reactive and more dense than calcium. So here we have to choose the reaction with water because it is more reactive, so the reaction will be faster, and it has a higher density. The answer is A. 24. Which pair of compounds shows a transition element in 2 different oxidation states? Here you have to calculate the oxidation state in the 2 compounds given in each option. Here chromium has the same oxidation state in the 2 compounds. Here copper oxide has oxidation state +1 and copper carbonate oxidation state +2. Here zinc has the same oxidation state, which is zinc +2 in the both compound. Here nickel has the same oxidation state, which is also +2 in the both compounds. So the answer will be B. Question 25. Which description of brass is correct? Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Here we have brass is a compound of copper and zinc. Alloy is a mixture. It is not a compound, so we will choose copper and zinc, but it's a mixture, so the answer will be C. What is the symbol of metal used to manufacture aircraft because of its low density? We know that aluminium is used in manufacturing aircraft because it has low density. The answer is A. 27. Which substance react to form hydrogen gas? Which substances react to form hydrogen gas? Here we have reaction of calcium and water. Calcium is one of the reactive metals that react with water to give calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Silver and dilute hydrochloric acid. Of course, silver cannot react with hydrochloric acid because it is below hydrogen in the reactivity series. So statement 2 is wrong. Magnesium and steam. Also magnesium react with steam. Here water is a gas to form magnesium oxide and hydrogen gas. Zinc with dilute hydrochloric acid. Also zinc react with hydrochloric acid to form zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. So we have 3 correct statements. 1, 3, and 4 are reactions that can form hydrogen gases. The answer is A. 28. Carbon and limestone are 2 raw materials used in the extraction of iron from hematite. Which type of reactions are we in which carbon and limestone is heated during the process? Which type of reaction occurs when each substance is heated during the process? Here we are adding carbon as a reducing agent, so the reaction is redox between iron oxide and carbon. And for limestone, thermal decomposition. Limestone decomposes to give calcium oxide, which is the substance that reacts with silica to form slag. So the answer is B. 29. Some combustion reaction produces pollutant gases. Which reaction produces a pollutant gas which is not present in the clean dry air? Here we have carbon monoxide is a pollutant gas. Here the product is water, so water is not a pollutant. Here carbon dioxide formed, but carbon dioxide is one of the gases that present in clean dry air, so we will not take this statement. The fourth equation, nitrogen monoxide formed, so 1 and 4 are reactions that give a pollutant gas that is not present in the clean dry air, and the answer is B. Question 30. 1 mole of alkane Y produces 72 decimeter cube of carbon dioxide when burned in excess oxygen, measured at room temperature and pressure. What is Y? Here we have substance alkane, which is Y, burned in excess oxygen to give 72 decimeter cube of carbon dioxide gas. So we will calculate the number of moles of carbon dioxide, dividing 72 by 24, the volume, divide the molar volume of any gas at room temperature and pressure. So we will have 3 moles of carbon dioxide. That means Y will react with oxygen to form 3 moles of carbon dioxide. Hence we have 3 carbon. Here the substance Y contains 3 carbons, so it is alkane propane. The answer is D. 31. The structure of organic compound is shown. What is X? So X is an ester. Here we have the ester linkage. This is the part from the acid. It has 2 carbons, so it is ethanoic acid. And the part from the acid, the part from the alcohol has a methyl group. So the alcohol is methanol, and the ester will be methyl ethanoate. Methyl ethanoate. The answer is C. What is the structural formula of the compound formed in the addition reaction of propene with bromine? So first we will draw propene. Here we have alkene with 3 carbon, it's propene. When we add bromine, we will open this double bond, adding one bromine atom here and the other one is here. So the structure will be here. From the left, we will have CH3, then CHBr, then CH2Br. And the answer will be A. 33. Ethanol is produced industrially by fermentation and also by catalytic addition reaction involving steam. Which row describes one advantage of each process? Here, for the fermentation, we have the advantage that it is renewable material. Of course, it is not rapid reaction. This is not what happened in fermentation. It's a slow process. So we will choose one of the reactant is renewable. And here, for the advantage of catalytic addition of ethene to steam, it is a continuous process. This is one of the advantage. Of course, not require a little energy. It's a highly sophisticated process. It requires high amount of energy. So the answer is A. 34. Carboxylic acid react with alcohol when warmed with acid catalyst. Which type of substance is formed in this reaction? Reaction of acid with alcohol produce ester. So the answer will be B. Question 34. Nylon is formed by condensation polymerization. Which structure represent nylon? Nylon is a polymer formed from two monomers. The first monomer has two carboxylic groups, one from each end, and the second monomer has one amino group from each end. So the polymer formed by removing one molecule of water. So we will have the CO attached to the NH, then this will be the amide linkage. So we will search for the polymer have two carboxylic group from each side and another one, monomer that have two carboxylic group from each side and another monomer that have two amino group from each side. To choose the nylon, here we have the first monomer having two amino group, one from each side, and the second monomer have the carboxylic group, one from each side, and the amide linkage formed between the two monomers. The answer is C. Question 38. Which structure represent the repeat unit of the addition of polymer formed from but1ene? So we will draw here the but1ene, carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 carbons, and then we will make the polymer by opening this double bond, adding 2 open ends, one from each side. Here we have the side chain of 2 carbons, C2H5 and 1H, the other carbon having 2H. So the repeated unit will be this one, and the answer will be A. Question 37. 2 grams of powdered calcium carbonate is added to 50 centimeter cube of hydrochloric acid. Which apparatus is used to measure these quantities of calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid? Of course, to measure 2 grams, we will use a balance, and to measure 50 centimeter cube of hydrochloric acid, we will use a pipette. So the answer is A. Question 38. The diagram shows a chromatogram obtained when the colors of 3 different sweets, X, Y, and Z, is analyzed. How many different red dyes are present in the sweets? Here we have too many different red spots. The first 2 having the same RF value, so they are the same substance. This is the first red substance, and here the other 2 spots having the same RF value, so they are the same substance. So we have 2 substances that are red color, or 2 red dyes, because the spots that having the same RF value are the same substance. So the answer will be B. Question 39. A mixture contains sand and aqueous solution of sodium chloride. So we have sand, which is a solid, and solution of sodium chloride. Which process is used to obtain a sample of the solid sand and a sample of the solid sodium chloride? Of course, sand is insoluble, so it can be removed by filtration. Then we will have the filtrate, which will be solution of sodium chloride, can be a solution of sodium chloride in which we can obtain the solid sodium chloride by crystallization. So first we will make filtration followed by crystallization. The answer is C. Question 40. A student tests an unknown compound, which is M. The compound M produce a lilac flame in the flame test and produce a gas which turns lime water cloudy when react with dilute hydrochloric acid. The gas that makes the lime water cloudy is carbon dioxide gas. So the substance that react with hydrochloric acid to produce carbon dioxide are carbonate. All carbonates react with hydrochloric acid or with acid to produce carbon dioxide gas. So here the substance M will be potassium carbonate, and the answer will be D. Now we reach to the end of our exam. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive all the updates. Comment down below if you have any question. Thank you for watching. Wish you all best of luck.